This is Amelia. I am going to teach a little bit of a faster sequence today. I have been hanging out with my two toddlers all morning, and I don't know about you, but I really just need to move, okay? So I'll try to offer different modifications along the way, but just know that this is like a little bit of a more challenging sequence. So just be careful with your joints, do what's appropriate, make modifications wherever you need it, okay? We're going to use a couple blocks if you have them. Otherwise, get creative for a little bit of a chest opener to start with. And it'll be good to have a blanket for some padding and maybe a bolster if you have it, or a couch cushion or something, but I'll give you options, okay? Let's see here. So take a chest opener of your choice. I'm taking a block, the yoga block long ways. So it's gonna be like this between my shoulder blades, and then a higher block for my head. But you can also take a chest opener, like opening up over a couch cushion or something. It'll just be a little bit softer, which is also nice, okay? If you don't have the yoga blocks. So you're coming down, lean on your elbows. I feel for the block hitting me right underneath my chest, right between the shoulder blades, okay? So it's not too low. If this starts to get achy in your lower back, a lot of times I see people in class set it up too low. So check in there. And then you can take your arms, the wider you take your arms to the side, the more you'll feel the stretch across the front chest. And then as far as your legs, it's up to you. You can keep your knees bent or extend them out long along your mat if that feels appropriate for your lower back, okay? And then welcome. You've made a little commitment here, carved out some space and some time in your day to take good care of yourself and to come to your practice. So now you let yourself fully come here. I'm so excited to be relaxing on these blocks and stretching out with you. And so as a way to fully arrive here, we're just going to exaggerate the breathing a little bit. So I want you to be calm. Don't do something that's going to, make you feel anxious, but see if you can take a little bit of a longer in breath and a little longer out breath for a couple cycles. If you're able to, you're taking these longer breaths in and out through your nose. And without forcing or directing, just kind of noticing where your breathing is moving as you exaggerate it. And starting to see if you can add a little length to your exhale, your out breath. And take 3 more of those deeper breaths. And 1 more. And then let your breathing return back to its natural pattern and just see, notice, observe. And then start to reach the arms out at a big, very wide V. So you just want your arms extending slightly past or above the line of your shoulders, as long as this is pain-free. So all these movements, we want to be pain-free for the shoulder girdle. Option to stretch the legs out long or keep them bent. That's up to you, but you do want the legs somewhat active here. And just having a little feeling of the tailbone dropping into the floor, the heels resisting apart from each other, and the inner legs reaching long. And then this nice width across the chest and the collarbones, right, with the arms stretching a little bit higher than the line of the shoulder. We're getting a big opening for pec minor, which is as the pec minor muscle stretches, the shoulder blades can relax more onto your back body. And then we'll start to take some active movements with the arms coming overhead For me, with my arms coming overhead, it feels more comfortable to have my head lower, so that my arms are more parallel to my ears, okay? So you option to take your head a little bit lower, as long as that doesn't cause any tension for your neck. You can still stay long through the back of the neck. Legs reaching, arms extending, legs reaching long and your arms extending overhead, so you're reaching out in both directions. And then we're gonna take this active cactus arm shape. We did this in the last video if you did that with me. So on an inhale, you're reaching your arms long, and on your exhale, pull your elbows down as you take your elbows bent out to the side. Inhale to stretch out. Exhale, draw the elbows down. Good, couple more rounds. Inhale, and on your exhale, descend. Depending on your setup, this will feel weird, right? I have the block between my shoulder blades, so I'm really feeling the shoulder blades drawing down on either side of the block, and also a little life come to my upper back muscles. If you have a prop supporting your shoulder blades, you'll feel your shoulder blades move a little bit along them, your bolster or whatever. And yeah, just letting that help you bring some awareness to your upper back. 2 more times. One more. Good. All right, hands come down. Bend your knees if they were out long. I like to use my hands to support my head, and then you just go for it and roll off your setup. And then move your blocks out of your way, and we'll come and lay back down for a couple things. Get my props out of your way. Okay, so you're stretching your legs out long, reaching your arms back overhead, grow in both directions. Enjoy how comfortable the floor is after having some props. It can feel nice to just lay flat. And then on your exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. Good, bend your knees, lift your right leg, turn it out and cross your ankle over your left thigh. And we're just coming for the classic outer hip stretch, the figure 4 shape. Try to get your ankle bone past your left thigh so that your right knee's coming a little bit more in line with your right hip joint. And then try to release your buttocks back to the floor as your knees come in towards your torso. And then we just did that great chest opener. So what happened to your chest? Can your collarbones be wide? Or are you recreating all the tension that you just released, right? Try to help keep this soft now again, and the throat soft, the back of your neck long. Use a lift under your head if you feel like your chin's lifting. And then we'll take that second stretch. So you let go and cross knee over knee, right knee over left knee in the deeper cross. And then you can hug your knees in towards your chest and hold on to your knees, shins, or your ankles. So this is a reclining variation on Gomukhasana. There we go. And we're going to try this pose seated later. So here you know, this is called Gomukhasana, cow face pose. And if you can't do it seated for any reason, issues with your joints, if there's any pain, then you'll come back to this variation, okay? Good. Okay, arms open wide, hips can scoot a little bit to the right, and then your knees come over to the left. If this is too intense, you prop your knees on a little height, or you can uncross your legs for a little bit of a gentler twist. And then broaden your left shoulder to the left and turn your chest back open to the right. And then a moment ago in the chest opener, you took some of those exaggerated breaths. So maybe just 3 or 4. Can you find that again in your twist? And this last one, can you really breathe out? Maybe even for a moment longer. And then let your breathing return back to its more natural pattern. Good. Okay. And then on an exhale, this helps engage the deep abs to stabilize as you lift your legs back to center. And then balance your pelvis with your shoulders. We lift the left leg, turn it out, taking the figure 4 type shape. So your left ankle past your right thigh. You draw your legs in. And again, hold on, or you can support putting a lift under your right foot. And then you just see, even as your legs are coming in towards you, can you release your buttocks back towards the floor? How's your collarbones, your throat, your jaw? How's your breathing? Okay, and then we'll let go and cross your left knee over your right knee, and drawing both knees in towards your chest now, holding onto your knees, your shins, your ankles. My neighbor's dog is barking a lot right now, so I hope that you can't hear Dax too loud. But this is what I got here, right here in my living room. Okay, so for Gomukhasana, nice width to the side hip, so we're especially stretching the left side, but both, right? And then breathing down to your pelvis. Okay, the big twist now, feet to the floor, pelvis can shift a little left, and you take your knees over to the right, and then decide if you want to adjust this side of the twist. You could prop your knees or uncross. Option to widen your right shoulder to the right, maybe up and out at a high diagonal, so we extend, finding some length in the spine in the twist. And then again, like the first side, we'll take a couple of those exaggerated breaths. And then you can let your breathing return back to its shallow pattern, or just whatever is a little bit more intuitive, more natural for you. I've been including some of these more intense breathing in my home practice over the last week or so. It's not something I cue normally in class. I think that really I want the breath to be sort of quiet and soft in the yoga practice, but I feel like I've been taking really shallow breaths, and it feels so good to just get some deeper breaths down into my belly and see how that influences this shape, right? I get a lot more out of the twist, I notice, as I take some deeper breaths. Okay, let's come out. On an exhale, you come back to center and uncross. So that's why I'm a little different than maybe I normally teach in class. Okay, let's take a reclining Tadasana again. You spread your toes out wide, reaching the legs long. And then stretch your arms up and back overhead. Can you keep your front ribs down and your back shoulder blades, your back body reaching through the arms as you stretch out through your inner legs? Good. Okay. And then the arms come down and you bend your knees, and we'll roll to the side. So a little wiggle, a little warm up, and now we'll do some other poses. Let's come and take downward facing dog next. I'm on a rug. So I got lots of padding, but pad your knees if you need it. Coming to your hands and knees, get a good strong lift up off. Maybe even let's do a couple of these scapula push-ups. So you can let your shoulder blades come together and then widen, together and widen. And then keep that nice lift, tuck your toes and reach up and back. And find lots of length through your spine. Knees are soft. Okay, and then come down for a moment. You can sit comfortably or stand on your knees, and I just want to take a little wrist stretch. Let's see, maybe you can see better from here. So we'll make the stop sign with the hands, flex the fingers up to the ceiling, open up through the palm, and then curl your fingers in and draw your knuckles to the floor so you open up the back of the wrist. So we're just kind of checking in with the wrist and drawing down. And one more time. And drawing down to the floor. Good. And then next you balance that teacup on your forearms and take your wrist circles without dropping the teacup. So important, right, as we've been busy, maybe doing a little bit different activities than we normally do. I've been with my kids nonstop, so it's always good to just check in with your wrist, see how they're doing. Good. Okay. We'll spend a little longer in downward facing dog this time, and you just come out if you need a little break, okay? So get a nice lift, scapula push-up, tuck your toes, and reach your hips up and back. And then take 3 exaggerated breaths. Again, in and out through your nose if you can. Good. Okay, feet close together. Let's lift the left leg high. So even as the left leg lifts, the right side of the pelvis is still also lifting. The right knee soft, and try to reach your right heel to the floor. That's the bottom leg. So you get a little bit of a calf stretch. Can the right knee soften, the right heel reach down, the pelvis lift high, left leg is still stretching. And then float the left toes down, lift the right leg up. So the right hip does roll open a little bit, but then go back and re-lift through the left side of your pelvis. And then let's see, the left knee's soft, the left heel's reaching to the floor. Find your calf stretch, even as the pelvis lifts high. Good. Okay, toes float down, lift your pelvis on your inhale. And then on your exhale, you can bring your knees back down to the floor. Let's take our lunges. So in the lunges, if you need your blocks or some sort of prop for your hands, you can also do this coming like forward towards a chair and put your hands on a chair. Then you can go ahead and grab props that you need. Yeah, okay. So from here, we're going to transition with the left foot forward. You're welcome to come to downward facing dog first. And then we'll come and lunge with the left foot through. You want a nice long stride so that your knee's just over the ankle. And then notice if your right leg got a little lazy, re-extend the right leg strong, breastbone coming forward, shoulder blades onto your back. Do maybe 2 shoulder blade push-ups. So you feel your shoulder blades are wide, but also down the back. Good. And then we're going to take a twist to the left, okay? So you'll keep your right hand down, whatever height you need. Left hand can be on your hip or can reach up to the ceiling. Knees coming forward, right heel's reaching back. Shoulder blade onto your back body. Inhale, come into the twist. Exhale, turn back down towards the floor. Next is Parsvottanasana, so you'll take your blocks high, shorten your stride, and bring your right heel, the back foot, to the floor, and extend the left leg straight. And then you just take this at your pace, okay? So the hips are coming towards facing the top of your mat. Your left hip crease is drawing back. Imagine your left groin's moving back. Right heel reaching down, and then your spine extending forward. And then you can round lower, or you could just move the blocks further forward to get more length and extension. We'll be here a couple breaths. Okay, walk the blocks back under your shoulders. Broaden your tailbone to the right again and rebend the left knee. Be light on the fingertips. Next we're coming to Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. So you got to get some weight into your back foot. Find the right heel firm. Hands can float back by your hips. This is kind of like Shalabhasana in the air. And then we take the arms and reach them forward and rise up to Warrior 1. tailbone broad to the right, right heel strong, and then lift out of the lower back. Even if you have to lean a little forward, you maybe come lower to the lunge, as is appropriate for you. So this should be happy for the lower back, big length in the right hip flexor, right? We haven't done a ton there yet, so I'm feeling a big stretch. And then as the right heel can reach down, you grow tall through the spine. Inhale, and then exhale, downward dog, or you could take Uttanasana for the transition. Come to a forward fold at the top of your mat if you prefer. And then breathe. Good. Okay, let's lunge with the right foot forward. And then, let's see here. Setting up in your lunge, you want your hands to support you whatever height you need. Tailbone broad to the left. Left leg strong, breastbone coming forward. How are your shoulder blades? A little check in there. And then we're going to twist to the right. So you want to keep your left hand down, right hand can come to your hip, and you start to turn open as you're ready. Right hand can reach to the ceiling. Shoulder blade onto your back, breastbone turning open. Oh, feels so good to twist. Inhale, and then exhale to turn down. Next is Parsvottanasana. So you want your blocks higher, short in your stride as you need. Get your back heel to the floor, and then you extend the right leg straight as you're ready. Take the right groins back, broaden across the ball of the foot. And then, let's see, the back heel's reaching down to extend the spine forward. You can round your spine over your front leg or walk the hands further forward as you'd like. Couple breaths, re-energize the legs, extend the spine. Good. Okay. Hands come back underneath you. We'll re-come into the lunge, bending your right knee. Next is Warrior One pose. So the tailbone broad to the right, tailbone broad to the left, left leg strong. Hands can float by your hips first for sort of like Shalabhasana. Arms extending forward, deep abs support you as you lift up, so that we have lots of strong support at the front body to stay wide and happy in your lower back. Tailbones broad to the left, left leg reaching. Maybe you come a little bit lower into the lunge for the last breath or two. Good. Okay. And then coming forward and down. From here I want to take a little bit of abdominal work. So you could choose to do plank pose. You could do elbow plank. You can do plank with the knees down. You make adjustments as you need, or you can take these little movements, these leg lifts. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. So you just have to decide what you want to do, but also check in with your wrists, okay, your joints. So from downward dog, as you'd like, you reach the left leg high. On your exhale, you'll come to a plank and draw your left knee to your left elbow. Now do that 2 more times. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, come forward when you're going real slow. 1 more time, touching the knee to the left elbow. Good. Okay, now we're going to go the cross body. So still the left leg coming forward, but now twist to the right. And we'll do that 2 more times. So you're reaching high and coming forward. 1 more time. To the right. Good. Lift your left leg and then float it back to downward dog. Switch. Right leg lifts. knee to your elbow, coming forward. Enjoy plank for a moment. Stretch back 2 more times, bringing your knee to your right elbow. And 1 more time. Good. And then lift. I feel more energetic already. Need a little movement. Okay, twist to the left. And then we'll do that 2 more times. Good. And 1 more time, twisting left. Okay, float the leg high and come down. Good. Get your breath. Let's bring something, maybe a lift under your belly. You can do this on your belly, flat on the floor, but I like a little bit of a lift as an option. So you could lay on top of a couch cushion or something. It doesn't have to be a bolster, but if you have a yoga bolster, it's great. And then maybe a support for your head. So you can fold up a towel or a blanket or something, or you can use a yoga block. Okay, we're gonna do some arm movements. Let's see, is this gonna be clear? So we're gonna lift the hands back, then we're gonna take the arms up, bend at the elbows, and do this motion like you're pushing a big weight overhead, except for that you're laying down, okay? So you lay down with your torso happily supported on a little prop if you have it. Toes can be tucked under. The bottom tip of your breastbone is tucked towards your pelvis so that you're not in a back bend, okay? And then a prop under your forehead. And then see if you can balance on your props. And then from here, you take your hands back by your sides, close to your pelvis. And then from here, you're going to initiate the movement from your shoulder blades. So you think about squeezing your shoulder blades together, then lift your hands as high as you can. Good, let's do that one more time. You set the hands down, initiate from the shoulder blades, squeeze together, hands lift up. Now make fists and take your hands in close to your side ribs. Then imagine you're going to push a bar up over your head. So you take cactus elbows with your hands reaching overhead as you extend and reach out. Now can you hover your arms off the ground? Deep abs supporting you, arms lifting high, and then set the bar down and take a breath. Okay, gather the deep abs, and then lift your arms up, straight elbows, hover, 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 and then pull the arms down. You turn the elbows to face up to the ceiling and extend your arms straight back. Lift your hands as high as you can to the ceiling. Now back behind you, and then set the arms down. So for this, I kind of like to just keep my hands in fists so that they're out of the way. And it helps me to imagine really pushing a bar up over my head like I'm at the gym or something, doing a squat. Okay, so if this is feeling good for you, pain-free in your shoulders, then let's do a couple more rounds. If you're feeling this in your lower back, then you have to engage your deep abs more. Think the bottom tip of your breastbone towards your pelvis. Yeah, so that you're not getting that range of motion from your back, you're getting it from your shoulders, okay? Is that all I wanted to say? Okay, let's do it again. Ready? Squeeze the shoulder blades, lift the hands. Lift, 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 bend your elbows, and then extend your arms up overhead. Now hover the arms overhead, engage your deep abs, breastbone towards pubic bone, and then set the arms down, rest, take a breath, and then lift the arms up, pull the bar down, extend the arms straight back behind you, and lift the hands high, and then rest. Good, one more time, lift up, bend the elbows, push the bar up overhead, hold the arms high above the floor, firm your triceps, firm your elbows, and then set the bar down. Last time, lift the bar up, pull it down, extend the arms back by your side, and now maybe lift your head, come into the back bend, Shalabhasana, maybe lift your feet if you can find your balance. If you're going straight back off your prop, then you got to get your pelvis further on your bolster or couch cushion. Whew, okay, rest. Enjoy the warmth of your shoulders here. Okay, and and then push to come up. Next, I want to take a front thigh stretch, and I'm just going to take advantage that I'm in my living room. I have my couch to use. This is one of my favorite ways to do the stretch at home. But you can stand and catch your back ankle and stretch your thighs out that way if you don't want to do any weight bearing in your knees. Or you can do this with your, classically at class we do it with the toes tucked under at the wall, okay? So, but I'll just show this since I'm here. So I have a blanket for lots of padding, even in addition to my rug, and then the couch behind, a little bit of a space here, and some blocks. I'm going to bring my right knee to the blanket, and the top of my right foot rests on the couch. And the closer my right knee is to the couch, the more intense the stretch, and then the left foot comes forward. From here you get the left hip crease to drop, and then maybe take the pelvis away from the couch. Maybe the hands walk in. And then find lots of deep ab support, lift up on the pubic bone. Option to take left hand to left thigh. Right hand can reach high. Left hand can come in if you'd like. So we're trying to lift up on the pubic bone, drop the left hip crease, grow tall through the arms. And then can you keep this lift, like the pubic bone moving forward, tailbone staying down towards the floor as you come forward. Lift the chest, lift the breastbone. Okay, and then we'll release you back up and take your second side, whichever variation you're doing. Again, closer your knee is to your wall or couch, the more intense the stretch. I always like to just ease in, right? So you can keep your hands kind of low, your chest is forward. This takes some of the back bend out of it, and you start to take the hips forward. We want the left thigh to be a little bit internally rotated, lifting into the body, and the right hip crease dropping. And then you can start to walk the hands back, adding in the upper body. But with that, you need lots of deep ab support, a little lift on your pubic bone. Maybe your right hand comes to your right thigh, and you kind of push away, lift up. So there's lots of abdominal strength here to support you. Otherwise, you're going to get the movement in the lower back and no stretch in the hip flexors, okay? Maybe both arms get lifted. And then maybe your pelvis moves forward, but think about the pubic bone coming forward. Tailbone drawing towards the floor. Oh, so good. Right? Maybe you've been sitting more than normal, doing some different things, and so this is such a great way to reopen up and lengthen the hip flexors. We need long, mobile hip flexors to be able to have a good stride in walking, feeling comfortable standing, nice lifted heart, right? So it's important. Good, okay, and then we'll back off. Yeah, from here we'll have some fun, link some poses together coming out of this, and you'll just do as much as is appropriate. Take rests if you need. Okay, all of your options along the way. Yeah, let's have a blanket nearby and your blocks, and yeah, we'll do like pigeon pose and stuff, so if you need a prop, you can use even a bolster under your pelvis, okay? So let's see, let's come to a lunge with the left foot forward. Coming back to your sticky mat, tuck your right toes under, and then we're coming to warrior one pose. So blocks are handy, we'll use them in a little bit, but from now you can take your hands back and then reach up, strong through the back leg, a little more length in the back thigh now, and the breastbone reaching and lifting. Good. Okay, and then extend the front leg. You can keep the arms high overhead or take reverse namaste, where you push the hands back and hold on to your elbows or bring the hands together. Breastbone is lifted, inhale, Exhale as you come forward, left groin moves back. Any arm variations you choose, you can take here. A couple of breaths in Parsvottanasana here. Good. Okay, if you still have your hands behind you, release your hands to blocks or the floor. And then we're going to come back to our lunge. So from here you come up to your right toes and rebend the left knee. And then from here we're going to stretch the right knee back and down. So you can set it to some cushion if you're not on a carpet, okay? And then next you're going to pick your left block up and put it at your inner ankle and toe heel your left foot a little bit to the left. So you want your left foot wider than your hip joint and ideally still pointing forward towards the top of your mat, okay? From here, we'll be here. This is nicknamed like a lizard lunge, lizard pose. It's nice to give the wrists a break, so if your blocks happen to be the right height, or maybe you need to boost it up with a bolster, you can take your elbows onto a prop. The breastbone's moving forward. The inner right leg is moving back. And then check in with your breathing. Okay, from here we're going to take pigeon pose. If you don't like pigeon pose, doesn't work well for your knees, you could take figure four again, laying on your back, or you can do it sitting in a chair like we do sometimes, coming forward towards the wall. So you'll back your hips up, move your left block back out wide, and toe heel your left foot over until you can take it down to the floor. So my left foot's coming in way close to me. I'm not trying to keep it at that 90-degree angle, and then taking the hips back. And this is where if your pelvis doesn't come to the floor, it's wonderful to use a little bit of height. So you can sit on top of something under the left side of the pelvis as you come forward, okay? Yeah, most important here is that you're listening to your body and do what it feels appropriate to you, okay? So if you're okay upright like this feels okay for the low back, deep abs are supporting you. Option to tuck the right toes and lift the right knee up off the floor and get a big opening across the right groin, the right hip flexors. And then re-release the knee down, keep the left hand down, and option to catch the right foot with the right hand. Keep wrapping the right hip point forward, engage the deep abs, resist your foot against your hand, and you might even get an opening across the right chest muscles. And then if you want to fold forward for a couple breaths, you're welcome to do what's appropriate for you. We'll take a couple more hip stretches on this side. Well, they're targeting more the right hip next. But again, you can take these reclining if you don't want to do them seated or they're not appropriate for your joints. So we're going to sit up and lean a little bit to the left and bring the right leg forward. Okay, so I'm going to move my blanket so I can lean my left hip to the floor and bring the right leg around, and then stack the right ankle on top of the left knee. Let's see, I'll turn towards you. So I have the right ankle over the left knee. If your right knee's high, put a prop, the block or blanket underneath your knee so you have something to rest into. And if you can't get your ankle to your knee, sometimes a prop in front of your knee, I have the block here, might be a good amount of stretch. Okay, so this is nicknamed the fire log pose. Nice width across the back of the pelvis. And then we'll stay tall, releasing the upper buttocks down. You can also come forward if that's available to you. Good. And then Gomukhasana. So now you'll tuck your left heel close to your right hip and your right heel close so that you have the two knees stacked on top of each other. And then this is a great one to put a block or something under your pelvis as you need for a little bit of height. And then you have the option of doing the arms. If you'd like. A lot of times it's helpful to have a strap for this. You would have a strap draped over your left shoulder here. You take the right hand, turn the palm back behind you, and then bend at the elbow and take your hand behind your back. The left arm's extending up, and you bend at the elbow, and then you're looking for pulling on the two sides of the strap, or if you can catch your fingers and then reaching them apart. And then this one, you want to try to soften your heart back towards your hands or towards the strap, and drop your femurs, the head of your thigh bones towards the floor. The hip crease is soft, upper buttocks down, even as the spine is tall. I don't know, does it feel good to come forward for you with a little bit of added stretch? You can keep the arms in this position a couple breaths. You can release the arms out in front of you. And then coming up, we get to do our second side. Let's stretch out in Dandasana first. So you'll stretch your legs out in front of you. Lean against the fingertips, open up the toes. Wiggle the legs. You want to take a Purvottanasana while we're here. You take your fingertips, point them straight back towards your pelvis, top shoulder blades wide. Inner feet to the floor as you lift up. Feel a little lopsided, but we'll balance it out now as we come into our second side. Okay? Cross your legs, roll up and over them, and come up to downward dog. And then we'll lunge with the right foot forward. I'm going to gather my blocks so that they're ready for me. And then starting in Warrior One, you'll get the back heel down to the floor, right foot forward. Blocks are handy for you. You can come up through that little bit of a Shalabhasana and then reaching all the way up. Drop the right hip crease, lift up through the inner body, inhale. And then extend the right leg. Arm variation of your choice for Purvottanasana. Parsvottanasana, excuse me, this pyramid pose stretch. All right, take an inhale and then let the right groin soften as you come forward. The right groins move back. And you can use your hands for support on the props as you need. Continue to let the groin soften, re-reaching into the left leg strongly, rounding over your front leg. Let's stay for just a couple more breaths here. And then if you haven't already, release your hands to your blocks. And then we'll come into our lunge. You bend your right knee, come up to your left toes, and then you'll pick up your right block, move it to your inner ankle, We're coming to that lizard variation of a lunge. You're stretching your left knee back and down. Put padding under your knee if you aren't on a carpet. And then, yeah, you just kind of take your time settling into this. The left leg's a little bit internally rotated and the inner left leg's reaching back behind you. Your right knee's still kind of hugging in close to your shoulder, even as it's a little wider than the hip joint. And then it's nice to be able to come onto the elbows again, if you can find the right height for your forearms, to give your wrists a break as you continue to pause, to stretch and be right here. Keeping some weight to your inner right foot, so the ball of the big toe and the inner heel is pushing against the floor. The breastbone's coming forward as your inner left leg is moving back. We'll stay again just a couple breaths here. And then you want to move slowly out of this stretch. So you come up onto your hands, rock your pelvis back a little bit, and move your right block out of your way. And we'll come into that pigeon pose or variation of it. So you could take figure 4 laying on your back, or you tuck the right ankle in close to your body. You can lower your hands, stretching the left knee back. Again, it's nice to support your pelvis on a little bit of height as you need. So you can see here on this side that I'm using the blanket under my right sitting bone, so I have a little something to rest into. The weight's going back more into the pelvis and less in your knee, your right knee here. And then just staying and breathing. Again, the back leg is a little bit internally rotated. And then as an option, you can tuck the left toes under to get more length across the left hip flexors. And take a breath or two. You can take your knee down to the floor and then catch with your left hand. So the right hand comes centered in front of you, and you catch your left foot, and then keep the hip point wrapping forward, the left hip point coming forward as you resist back against your hand. You can get a little bit of a stretch across your left chest and increase the amount of length, stretching happening at the front of the left hip, the left thigh. And just stay and breathe a couple breaths here. And then if you want to fold forward, you can stay in this stretch a couple breaths, maybe another minute or so longer, just coming forward. Now letting the back leg rest to the floor. Just seeing if you can let your breath slow down, come into your hips. And then just as you're ready, you'll bring some weight back into your hands. And if you have a lift into your pelvis, you can move it out of the way and lean over to your right. So bring the left leg forward, and in the fire log pose, you stack the left ankle over your right knee or on a block in front of your leg, whatever you need variation you need. You can prop your left knee on a little bit of a lift, the blanket, and then use your fingertips for support behind you. You want to rest your upper buttocks towards the floor. Really, like, imagine the heads of your thigh bones resting, dropping towards the floor. And deepening your breath down to your pelvis, down the length of your spine. And then you might stay upright, or you can come forward if that's a range of motion is available. So walking the hands out in front of you and taking some weight into your hands as you tip forward over your thighs, your pelvis over your thighs. then use your hands to sit back up. You walk them in. And next we'll take Gomukhasana, so now stacking the knees over knees, heels coming back closer to your hips. From here you can lean into your fingertips and scoot your tailbone a little to the right and balance out the two sitting bones. And then option to take the arm variations in Gomukhasana if you'd like, so the strap can come over your right shoulder. The left palm looks behind you, and then you take your hand up your back, right arm reaches up overhead, grabbing your tricep towards your face, and then bend at the elbow and looking for the hands to catch or grabbing the strap and giving a gentle resistance of your elbows apart from each other, so you're pulling that strap apart. Soften your heart back towards your arms behind you or the strap behind you, your head back into your arm. And then just staying upright, a couple of breaths here, letting the hip creases drop towards the floor. Option to tip a little bit forward. And at any point you can release the arms. And just staying a couple more breaths here in this stretch. Okay, and then again we'll stretch our legs out in Dandasana, so you can just extend the legs out long in front of you. Fingertips behind. You can lean a little bit back into your hands and just reach the legs out long. And then again you can take Purvottanasana. I went straight into the straight-legged variation of it, but you can always do one with your knees bent, or keep your knees bent the whole time is a little bit more accessible. So the top shoulder blades wide and down the back, chest lifted, big toes and inner heels firm, and try to push your knees away from you. Lift the tailbone into the body, side buttocks is firm, elbows are soft, shoulder blades drawing down your back, and you really lift up. If it's appropriate, you can take the head back, breathe, and then come down and pause and rest. And then maybe we'll do one more. Check in with your wrists, especially if you're practicing on carpet. I find this to be hard on the wrists. It's better to have a stable surface. If you have cork blocks, you're welcome to put the cork blocks under your hands. It is a great prop. Okay, let's do one more. Maybe you go straight to straight legs, up to you. Inner feet towards the floor, and we have lift off. Elbows are soft, triceps are working, shoulder blades moving down the back, breastbone lifting, especially that bottom tip of the breastbone. Trying to get it to lift. Okay. Let's come into downward facing dog next. So you can take half dog at the wall if you prefer for your wrists, but just getting a nice sense of extension and lift up through the spine again, or back through your pelvis if you're standing. Good. Okay. Tadasana. Take your arms overhead. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. Good. Okay. From here, take revolved triangle pose. So we'll bring the two blocks on either side of your left foot, with your left foot at the top of your mat, and your right foot steps back. As much as possible, your hips are facing towards the top of the mat. Let's start just taking the arms high overhead, ground down through the back leg, grow tall through the spine, through the arms. And then we'll take the arms open wide in a T shape, and then twist as you lower down. So you're bringing your right hand maybe right underneath your heart today. You can cross the ankle if you prefer, but have the weight balance between the two sides of the pubic bone. So reaching into the right leg, extending up through the breastbone, right shoulder blade onto the back, and your left chest twisting and turning open. Your gaze is wherever is appropriate for you today. For your balance, for your neck. Okay, breath, turn, and then we'll come all the way back up. You can reach the arms high. Good. And take the arms down. And then we'll step the feet together and come to your second side. Okay, move your block if you need to. Right foot forward, left foot back. Let's start standing again. Reaching into the back leg, arms come high overhead. Arms open wide, and then turn as you lower down. Bring your left hand centered under your chest, or can cross. Tailbone wide to the left leg strong. Breastbone coming forward, left shoulder blade onto your back body, and we're turning open across the right chest. Good. How's this side feel? Don't forget to breathe in your twist. Letting the front ribs soften into the body, turn across the left chest, reach. Good. Okay, let's come back up and out, arms high overhead. Good. And then exhale to release. Okay, from here, I want you to work on a little bit of back bending, but do as much as is appropriate for you, right? So if you want to go right to a little bit more of a restorative back bend, you could take a supta bridge pose, supported bridge pose is what I wanted to say. If you're up for a couple active poses, you could take, I'm going to show upward facing dog and then maybe a couple bow poses, Dhanurasana. I'm practicing on carpet, so my wrists really like the cork blocks for a little bit of firmness under my hands. So I'll show that, but you can do this with your hands flat on the floor as well, okay? So we'll plant the hands and step back first to downward dog. And then come forward into your plank pose. Shoulder blades onto the back, breastbone keeps moving forward. You untuck the toes or uncurl the toes, so you go to the tops of the feet. Soften your elbows, pull your shoulder blades down your back, bring the breastbone forward and through. And then engage your deep abs to lift yourself up and back to downward dog. If that felt good, let's do it again. Coming forward plank. Keep my glasses on. Breastbone through. Inner legs reaching back the whole time as the breastbone's lifting and coming forward. Deep abs are strong here, so you're not just collapsed into the pose, but really lifting through the chest. And then strong abs to lift you all the way back up and out. Good. From here, let's come all the way to the belly. And then shrug your shoulders down your back. You could start in a shalabhasana and then bend your knees. Can you catch your ankles at the same moment? You're kicking your feet straight back first and then up. There's a natural ebb and flow to this pose as you breathe. Keep lifting the feet back and up. Chest moving forward. Good. And then rest. However is appropriate for your neck. You can rock your hips a little side to side as you'd like. Okay. One more time, shalabhasana. Bend your knees, catch your ankles, and then kick the legs back and up. Just a couple breaths here, lifting the toes high, breastbone moving forward. Okay, and then we'll rest. And then while you relax, you can think about how that feels in your body. And then maybe come and take bridge pose if you haven't already. It's nice to have a lift under your shoulders, so using your blanket or towel, you fold it long or wide across so that this is for your shoulders and a block for your pelvis. And you could build up some height under your pelvis using a couple of books. If you don't have a yoga block, big toes, inner heels firm, you reach your knees forward and then place the block under your pelvis. And then you decide how this feels. If the support feels quite
Stable, you could play with the one-legged variation. So you're drawing first the left knee in towards your body. Keep the pelvis resting onto the block as you extend and lift the left leg high. And the knee can stay soft as you need so that we get this nice lift from the back of the leg and not a gripping sensation at the front of the hip crease. And then lower that leg down. And we'll come to our second side. Chest lifted, throat is soft, head gently resisting it to the floor. If this feels quite stable, you can add the second leg so that both legs are lifted, but your tailbone is dropping onto your block or your support as the legs extend and reach high. So this is kind of an active variation of legs at the wall, kind of a cross between legs at the wall, Viparita Karani, and shoulder stand. And then you want to come out safely. So just as you're ready to bend your knees, you can lower your feet one at a time, or see how it feels to lower both feet at the same time. You want to keep your shoulders on the blanket. And just very quietly land. If you're on quite a bit of height, you might take the block lower first. And as you're ready, take the block away. You can keep the blanket or take it out from under your head. It's up to you. And then just rest with your knees bent for a couple breaths and notice how you feel. A gentle twist to the left now, arms open wide. Knees to the left. And through center and to the right, letting your breath slow down. Breathing into your lower back. Okay, come back to center. Bring your feet together and your knees apart, Baddha Konasana. Option to take happy baby stretch. You open the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling, gentle with your body. And then Shavasana as you're ready. So be comfortable and at ease as you lay back here. You can put a lift under your knees. You can put on a layer if you wanted. If you're wearing your glasses still, you can take your glasses off. And yeah, just take a moment to wiggle, settle in, and get comfortable as you lay back. And then a little different practice today in Shavasana. We'll take just a minute of those exaggerated breaths, a little bit deeper breaths in and a little longer breath out, just to take our time to really get in some fresh new air into our lungs. And then if you're comfortable breathing in and out through your nose, you just breathe in and out through your nose. Yeah, if you're still taking those deeper breaths, a couple more. And then at the next exhale, go ahead and you're taking a full, nice, rich breath in and an easy, long, slow breath out. And at the end of your exhale, I want you to keep your throat open and just pause for a moment. So you're not sealing your throat off by any means, but just pausing with the air out for a moment. Just a moment or two longer than you naturally do. Pause. And then let your next inhale just float in. And now you just let your breathing come to a very easy, gentle floating pattern, however it naturally is following. And again, here in Shavasana, taking the time to just be right here with your breathing. Anytime you notice your mind wander, you just call yourself back to being right here. Now I am breathing in. Now I am breathing out. Calling yourself back to your breath. And you roll to your side. And take a moment on your side to just pause. And use your arms to sit up. Taking a moment to sit tall. And bring your hands in front of your breastbone. Namaste. So I hope you feel comfortable to rest in Shavasana longer if you have the time. My time is over. I don't know if you can hear my little baby. My daughter just woke up, so hopefully you can't hear her too loud crying in the background. But thank you so much for practicing with me. And yeah, I can't wait to do some more practices with you. Let me know if you have any special requests, all right? All right, thank you so much, yogis.